my dollars make it hurt.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking on this video and welcome back to the Antler Up channel. And on today's video, what I want to discuss with you all is the gear that I've worn this year already. So I started the year hunting Maryland and October rolled around for Pennsylvania and I was able to switch gears and try out Huntworth. It's a Pennsylvania-based company and I wanted to give them a try. This season already, I've been able to fill 4 doe tags and a buck tag here in Pennsylvania. And I have my first self-film video on the channel, so if you want, go back and watch that. It's just a quick, easy doe hunt and first time filming and getting it on film, so I'm really excited about that. But regardless, we're talking Huntworth here, and I want to just, again, go over the equipment that I've worn thus far. So not a lot of pieces, but I hope it could kind of help you make a decision if you are watching your budget, where you're at. And right now there's a flash sale going on. By the time this drops, also an additional 20% off. So for some items, you could potentially get 70% off. And I really got to say, I've worn a lot of different gear, from higher end brands of First Light, which you'll see a bunch of videos on the channel regarding that. And I could kind of even talk about how things compare as far as, you know, when to wear it, how it felt, and everything along those lines. But I've worn First Light, I've worn Sitka, some Kuwu stuff. So I feel like I have a good basis. And I'll tell you what, I'm really impressed with Huntworth. It's for the money and for the quality, man, it's kind of really hard to beat. And my family's growing, so really going to start watching how I spend my money as far as the hunting things go. But let's get into it. I'm going to start with accessories first and work with the main pieces. But right away, this is the Bard just fleece midweight beanie. And just your typical beanie, nothing crazy, nothing going as far as features rich pack, but it does have a grid fleece lining to it. And I wore this one a lot so far this year. It hasn't been the coldest yet, so I haven't needed to wear the heat boost material or anything like that. But this, it's a nice beanie. It fits really good on the head for me. I don't have a large head by any means, so it fits really nice, really happy with it. Next, I'll talk about the Ams neck gaiter, and this one is the heat boost, and I wanted something along those lines just because I like having something covering my face a little bit. It just keeps me a little bit warm. This is, like I said, the heat boost technology that they have in it. It is Sherpa aligned. Really like this piece, and for, you know, I've seen people complain and talk about different things when it comes to wearing like a neck gaiter, you know, with your breathing, if it gets wet. I noticed with this that it dried pretty quick, number one. But number two, if I needed to adjust it or slide it to the side, I did do so, and it did not. And again, that's where I noticed that it would dry pretty quickly. So again, kept my neck warm, and I don't like wearing a hood. And if I do wear a hood, I only like to wear it during that early season, and it's really kind of like my main piece of where I like coverage, just because of my ears. Next, the day that I was able to double up and kill my buck and another doe this year, it was a little bit chillier in the morning, so therefore I wore the Ams Gloves. With these gloves, I do shoot a thumb button release, and I do like having the capability of having my index finger as well as my thumb finger exposed. Across the board, I'm a medium in Huntworth, very similar to First Light, where I was a medium in everything. I like the way things layer, but, you know, again, even the gloves, I'm a size medium, and really like these gloves. They have, again, kind of going off of the grid fleece here. This has a nice kind of like very similar feel to, as far as warmth goes, to the Bard hat as well. So again, the Ams gloves, if you shoot or you don't like wearing gloves and you like to have at least your trigger finger and your thumb exposed, the Ams gloves is a great option. Again, so between like all three of these pieces with sales going on, you could get all three pieces for like 50 bucks. Can't beat that. So awesome, awesome things going. Pair of pants that I wore a ton and I love, and I do want to get some of this style in their solid colors just because I really like it. Now these pants are more so for an early season. Once it starts dipping down maybe into the 40s, that's where I would maybe go to the bibs, and I'll cover that. But if you have a base layer for the bottom piece, a heavier set, you could get away with these. I do believe that, especially here in Pennsylvania. One thing I did not mention thus far, this pattern is in the tartan. I really like it. It has the white, it has the dark green, it has the brown. So really has that really good breakup here in Pennsylvania. I think it looks really good. But these are the Durham pants. And so with these pants, they're really lightweight, and I'm a 34, 33 waist. I'm only about a 30-inch inseam or a 29 inseam, but these again are medium. And there are 6 pockets on this pair of pants, but you see here the reinforced stitching and the reinforced kind of padding there. It's not necessarily padding, but it goes on the knees as well as on the butt. So obviously those are your more rugged areas where you're putting your knees maybe into a tree as a saddle hunter, or if you're on the ground for the, you know, ground hunting, anything along those lines where it needs to be reinforced. That's where that is. So again, a nice feature. They fit great. They're not that long. I would say they probably are 32-inch inseam, so I can get away with it, and that's just typical as far as hunting pants go. But in the crotch area, in the butt area, in the thigh area, they fit wonderful. And again, I would like to get a pair of solid color pants in these because I like wearing them. So speaking of base layers, so I do want to go over the one base layer that I did wear this year, and that is like the Bangor set here. So I just have the top here, but there is a bottom pair that matched with this. I really like this material. It's really soft. I noticed too that it dried very quickly, which I really like, because especially even during the early season, I still like to wear some sort of base layer underneath my shirt, and this worked flawlessly. I would say as it starts dipping into November here pretty soon, I would want a little bit more of a heavier weight one, but for right now, for what I did in October, this was a perfect piece of a base layer as far as that goes. I would say, as far as First Light goes, I would say it's a cross between the Wick hoodie as well as the Kiln. It's kind of in between those two pieces. Okay, so now moving on to some of the things that I wore either as an outer piece or even as a mid layer, depending on the situation, and that's the Waycross. This is a quarter zip, and it is a fleece lined. Man, I'll tell you what, this surprised me. Number one, it also has a kangaroo pouch right here. So I love having that capability, especially if I'm wearing it as the outer layer piece to it. But this thing was super warm. I wore the Bangor as my base layer, and then I wore this on a evening hunt after work, and I was perfectly fine. It was maybe starting to get into that low 50s range. This is, I think, a great piece, again, for an outer wear piece earlier in the season, as well as a mid season as it gets in as a mid layer. Now, to build on that, one of my favorite pieces thus far has to be, hands down, the Shelton Hoodie. So the Shelton Hoodie is again, I don't like having something over my ears as when we get going, as far as like a hood plus the neck gaiter is concerned, but this has a built-in face mask, which is awesome, and it has that like kind of jersey material to it. But this also has not only the kangaroo pouch, but then also has a zipper pouch right here. So this zips up, so you have an additional storage. So if you need a hand warmer, or if you have, I don't know, a type of a grunt call, anything along those lines. And again, it has that quarter zip. But the thing that excites me the most, and I'm a big fan of this, is that grid fleece pattern. It's very comfortable, number one. Number two, it wicks moisture away extremely well. Even from some of the past brands that I've used, whether it be Sitka, I know in their Fanatics hoodie, they use something similar. In First Light, they, what was it, the Klamath hoodie had something very similar, and I would say that's right up there with this as far as quality goes and as far as functionality goes. It is the exact, honestly, it's the exact same. It just has Tarnin, and Huntworth makes it. I could not be happier with this piece. So again, as a outer shell or as a mid layer, the Shelton hoodie, can't go wrong. It's a great, great, great option. Now, getting into the main pieces with what I wore, again, building on with, it was a little bit colder the morning I shot my buck in a doe where I doubled up. I wore the Elkins setup. So the Elkins is your midweight gear goes. So I would say falls in between the First Light Solitude, and I would assume I wore a couple years ago the Fanatic series, but I know they came out with a light. I never really had a chance to feel that one, but I would say, again, this Elkins, the bibs, they would go in as far as, for sure, very similar to the Solitude. And this has the velvet kind of material, they call it, so it's very soft. It wicks water away. It's DWR. Again, it has the reinforced knees as well as the butt, which I like. These fit like a charm. Again, the mediums fit like a glove to me, but on the front here, you have front pockets, kind of by your thighs. I would maybe like to see that because I saddle hunt, it was a little too high for me. It was kind of harder to get into the pockets. However, I think if they just lowered it a little bit, they'd be dynamite. But again, really awesome piece. They do have pockets on each side. It's not a full pass-through. As you can see, there's a zipper there, but then there's also a pocket here in the front that just slides down and a zipper pocket on the left chest here. Awesome features. I'm again really impressed, number one, with the quality with it, and then number two, with the price. So you can't, I don't know, man, you just can't go wrong with it. I'm really happy and excited for the decision that I made going to Huntworth here. Next to build on the Elkins kit is the vest. I'm a big vest guy, okay? So same material as the bibs. What's really cool, they have a left chest pocket that zips. Okay, the inside, when you look at the material, again, it is that grid fleece. It is extremely identical to the barred beanie, but this is a triple layer piece. And then the jacket, which is in the exact same thing. What I like best about this, obviously it's the exact same thing as a vest, but the sleeves. They taper, so they do not get in the way. They have this nice little stretchy wristband going around, so you're able to, if you have gloves on, expand that, but then it sucks in close to your wrist. Again, two pockets along the side, pockets where they should be. And then if you do hunt out of a tree stand and you have your harness on or anything, they do offer the pass-through, and that's also on the vest. So again, some really great things. I would say, depending on your base layers, depending on what your as far as that goes, I think you could get away with the whitetail rut here in Pennsylvania with just this kit. I would, especially right now, it's actually pretty warm out. If it would dip down into the 30s, that's where I would go to that next step from Huntworth. But again, depending on your base layer and what your temperature runs for you, then you could potentially get away with the Elkins kit. Again, the Shelton hoodie, by far one of my favorite pieces. Like, you could get away with a good base layer, Shelton hoodie, and that Elkins vest, and you'd be surprised how far that could get you. So again, the Ams Gloves, another little favorite piece of accessory. I'm really liking what Huntworth has done, again, and what Huntworth is as far as the price goes and its quality. You can't beat that. And I'm really excited to test some more gear, and especially colder gear once I go to Ohio here pretty soon for a trip. But thanks again, everybody. If you have questions about Huntworth, drop them in the comments below. Check out some of the other videos that I did over the summer. And obviously, like I said, the doe hunt, my first self-film hunt. I really appreciate those that are obviously tuning in to the videos, subscribing, but also tune in weekly on the podcast over on the Sportsman's Empire that airs every Wednesday, and the kind messages that I've received over on Instagram. So if you're just catching this video for the first time, checking this out, number one, thank you for doing that. Number two, if you like it, give it that thumbs up and check us out over on all the other platforms that we're on as far as Instagram goes, Facebook, Go Wild, as well as obviously YouTube and our podcast. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you on that next video, and Antler up.